Hello, Beanie Man Justin here. Hello, Beanie Man Justin here. That's not a beanie. Hello, Beanie Man Justin here. So I've become increasingly aware of something about myself. Something that is probably obvious to everyone that knows me. I don't finish things, but I want to. I suppose I've been aware of it for a long time, but lately it's starting to bug me. I started a lot of stories, probably 55 at last count, maybe closer to 60 now, and I've finished about 4, maybe 5. Most of them were short stories. Actually, all of them were short stories. And I finished one today. It was 500 words long. So apparently I can finish a short story. I guess that's a short story. I think 500 words. It's more like flash fiction. But anyway, short story. Something between 7,000 and, I don't know, 20,000 words. I think that's a short story. Somewhere around in there. In my last video, I talked about all the things I was starting. Learning to play piano, learning to play Spanish, learning to speak Spanish. No say. I haven't been working on either of those things. And I haven't been writing really either. But what I have been doing is reading. I've been reading a lot. And I've been finishing stories. And that's actually one of the reasons I started reading, was because I want to do something that I know I can finish with persistence and use that as a launching point for doing other things and finishing them. And I think that's partly what inspired me to write the story that I wrote this morning. I've also noticed that it's really good to be around people who are good at finishing things. And fortunately, my wife is. She finishes a lot of things she starts, way more than I have finished versus started. I think she probably finishes more like 75% of what she works on or more. I finish about 1 or 2% maybe. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a little hard on myself, but I really feel like now I know what I want to do and I know what I want to be, and I'm still not working towards doing that. And I think a lot of that is because I didn't have a lot of accountability. Not that I wasn't around people that didn't support me. I didn't think I needed support because it's not something I took seriously. I wanted to write. I wanted to do it for fun. I didn't want to do it as a career, but I think I could do it. I never really did well in English classes in high school or college, probably because I didn't like writing within the confines of what they were setting up for me to write. They tell you to read a story and write about that, or take a topic in current events and write about that, and none of that stuff was interesting to me. And I never took any creative writing classes. It was always literature and English class and language arts and all that stuff. Also, I've been thinking a lot about making video games and making music, two things I don't know how to do, but I've always been drawn to. And bringing all of that together with writing, it makes me think all of those things have something in common. A video game requires music and story and programming knowledge. But I've also been told it's better to focus on one thing rather than multiple things. You can be great at one thing, but you can only be good at multiple things. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I do get the feeling that if you spend a lot of time doing different things, it takes a lot longer for you to perfect those things. So now I guess where I'm at is I want to do something with video games. I want to learn how to program. I want to learn how to make music. I want to learn how to write. But I don't really know where I want to go with that now that I know what I want to do. I think the best course of action would be to go to school. But if that's what I should do, then should I go to school for writing or programming or music? And as far as that goes, I think going to school for programming would make the most sense because it's the thing I know the least about. And the other two things I can practice in my spare time, but programming I can't practice in my spare time because I have no experience doing it. Also in the past, I think I've gone to college 3 or 4 times and dropped out every single time because I didn't feel connected to the thing that I was going to college for, or ran out of money or moved or it was too hard to balance work and school. But now I think I'm at an age where I might be able to do that and stick with it. And my wife has helped me a lot with thinking about stuff like that. I'm a bit of a fantasy-minded person. I stay in my head most of the time. I dream up stories, play video games, read. I don't keep up with current events in the news. I don't really leave the house that much. And she spends her time working around people that focus on current events and real world things. She really balances the way I think. She's an imaginative person too, but she balances that with the real world. And I've never really tried to balance it. I just floated through the real world, going to whatever job, doing whatever thing, hanging out with whatever people, just existing. But I don't want to exist anymore. I want to be. I want to experience and grow and learn. So I guess what I'm really saying is, in order to become what you want to become, you need to be around people who are what you want to be, who act like you want to act. And Hiram is really good at game design and logic and things like that. And it really got me thinking about what I like about video games, what makes good video games, what makes bad video games. And being around Kelly made me realize that I could be better than I am. I could be more realistic without giving up that fantasy-minded, playful part of me. And being around Nathan helped me realize how important networking is and how important friendship is. I've had very few close friends in the past, probably because I never took those relationships very seriously. One example would be, I had a friend that I worked with and he moved to another state, and we were really close friends up until that point. But after he moved, I never called him. I made friends with someone else and started hanging out with him all the time. And then one day I was trying to call that current friend and accidentally called the previous friend. And he picked up the phone and he said, "Hey man, how's it going?" Excited to hear from me. And I didn't pick up on that in his voice. And all I said was, "Oh, sorry, wrong number," and hung up and called the other friend, hung out with him, whatever. And I didn't even think anything of that conversation with the first friend. Months went by and he ended up moving back to the city that I was in. And we ended up becoming roommates. At one point we were having a conversation and he brought up that phone call and he said, "Hey man, I was really excited to hear from somebody. I was really lonely up there, didn't have really any friends. You called me up and said, 'Oh, sorry, wrong number.'" And it hurt. And he had forgiven me for it, but I never realized I had done anything wrong. And that really got me thinking friendships are important. And in a way, Nathan has reawakened that knowledge in me. He puts a great importance on friendship and the closeness of friends. I don't think I ever really did that before. Whenever somebody moves on or goes to another city or gets married or you stop going to school or working with them, I never really kept in touch with them. But Nathan does keep in touch with people. He even keeps in touch with people that he has never met before, which is really awesome. So saying all that, this isn't really where the video topic started, but I think it is a good place for it to end. I think it is really good to surround yourself with people that have qualities you want, or people you want to be like, or people that can teach you something that you don't know or you don't value as much as you think you should. I'm Beanie Man Justin, Dancing Zelda shirt with Link on it. His name is not Zelda. This video is really non sequitur. Maybe. Hello, blah blah blah. My name is blah blah blah.